Welcome back to a new series of FMOC. We've got new rules, new participants, and a few fancy new graphics. For our new followers, here's a quick summary of how each season works. We start with a 3-round draft. All draft players are between 20 and 31 years old. Then, teams will get a chance to top up their squads either with youngsters under 20-year-old or get some experience with players over 32 years old. And finally, we'll simulate the season, hand out prize money, and set the draft order for the next season. The draft order works like American sports, so the team that finishes last in the league will get the first pick in each draft round. And we follow this cycle for 10 seasons. Teams can trade using players, draft picks, or money, and the winner of the game is the team with the most points gained after 10 seasons. As it's the first season, we've essentially done 2 drafts to fill up the teams a bit more. So each team gets 6 draft picks, and the draft is in a snake format. Harry Kane was the first player off the board. I've never had great success with Kane, but I think Dunk had to pick him over Osimhen here. Sweet Left Foot didn't realise that players will age in this, so he regrettably picked Sadio Mane with his first pick. There weren't really any other shocks. Roy picked up a goalkeeper very early, but being on the end of a snake draft is always hard to judge what will come back to you, as there's a long gap between picks. For the second set of draft picks, Roy chose Vinicius over Kimmich with his first pick. Both were in the best 11 for the pilot series. I think Kimmich only started to drop off around season 9, thanks to his high natural fitness. Redrup was reunited with old friend Lautaro Martinez, who got around 60 goals in 140 games from the pilot. So this is how the teams look after the draft. I won't go into too much detail now, as I think the teams could look very different after the auction. For a bit of fun, I've also graded each team based purely on the drafts. Let us know who you think had the best draft in the comments. The players up for auction are always going to be at opposite ends of their career. The old boys are a good way to fill any gaps for the short term, whereas you can start building for the future with some of these youngsters before they're old enough for the draft. One of the new features we've added this season is manager perks. In the pilot, there didn't seem to be much difference between a team managed by Pep Guardiola versus Brendan Rodgers. So perks are a way to get more out of the top managers. Although some managers will share the same theme of perk, the top managers will provide a stronger version, if you see the difference here between Conte and Emery. So let's take a look at how we expect the teams to line up after the auction. With 10 real players, Dunk has the biggest squad of the 8 teams. Maybe slightly overdone it with the attacking players. Dunk didn't purchase a manager in the auction, so his basic manager looks to have gone for a narrow diamond. It sounds crazy to say it, but I kind of think Kane and Gakpo are probably the best centre mid pairing he's got here. I wouldn't really want Messi to play in a deeper role as he doesn't have the legs. Romford have followed the trend a bit here, potentially a bit too trigger happy with the attacking talent. They've got 3 number 9s who aren't particularly versatile, so one of them is always going to have to be stuck out on the wing. For Modric's sake, let's hope he's not playing centre-back the whole season here. In true Italian style, Roy has drafted 4 defensive-minded players. In the auction, he picked up the 2 best managers, and Oscar Gluck is going to be the only player benefiting currently from Pep's perk, but I'm sure he'll be looking to bring in more youngsters to make use of that. I like Sean's team. I don't think this formation particularly suits Bruno and Ferran Torres, but I think it's a good mix of players here. Allegri is a good manager to have, so you'll never worry about the squad size. But I think maybe another manager that comes in will hopefully have a formation that suits the team better. Moving on to Mike's team, and there's a big gap around Pau Torres on the left-hand side here. I think he'll struggle to hold out the attackers on his own. I can see the logic of this formation from the basic manager, just sticking as many players in the defence as meat shields and hoping for the best. There's some weird Italian connection going on here. Both Sai and Roy favoured defenders over attackers. They both bought two managers in the auction, although Sai Maggio actually sold one to Billy. But strong core, but I think obviously there's just a lack of talent on the wings, which I'm sure he'll look to improve next season. Tom was the only team not to purchase any players or staff in the auction. Martinelli and Isak should be good enough to last till the end of the game, but this team is going to struggle in season one, I feel. Now, I don't think Billy is Italian, but our final team also looks quite defensively minded. He's decided to hold off using Eddie Howe's manager perk until next season when he adds more players to the team. I do like the team, but it's obviously just missing a few players at both ends of the pitch. So that's a breakdown of the teams going into season one. I've put my neck on the line here and predicted Sean to win, but I think any of the top five on my list have a good chance. If Mike's team was fully fit from the start, I'd bump him up a bit, but he's missing two players for over half the season, so I just can't see it. That's everything from me, so thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video where we review the results from season one.